I want everyone to think of this. Our civilization is under attack. I don't need to tell you in what ways. I just described all of them. The monuments, the holidays, the heroes, the heritage, the culture, the faith, the population itself. It's all under attack. Can you defend our civilization from attack if you can't say one good thing about the people that built that civilization? Who built this civilization? Who built America? The English. And who built European civilization? The Europeans, the Greeks, the Romans. How can you defend the civilization that we have inherited if you can't come up with one good thing to say about the people that made that civilization? Can't work. It's not going to work. People are going to have to come up with a little bit of a better reason to keep our civilization going than something like, well, our civilization is the best because we don't see race. Our civilization is the best because we attract the most talented workers from around the world. Immigrants can get jobs here. We can all buy a lot of stuff. We're going to need a little bit of a better reason to justify our existence and the perpetuation of our way of life than that. We need people that believe in our civilization, that affirm our civilization, and that are actually willing to defend our civilization and what it is. You cannot go out there and say, our civilization should continue even though America is an imperfect union, striving to listen to our better angels and our original sin, and we've made mistakes in the past, but now we're the most anti-racist. That's not an argument for our civilization to keep going. And if that's your argument for your civilization to keep going, it won't keep going. Because we've got a big problem that people are letting our civilization be taken away from us. We are watching it be dismantled in front of our very eyes. And not enough people care, and not enough people are doing something about it. And what's the pitch that they should? You should preserve these statues because it's like a museum. We should preserve Robert E. Lee statues because it's historical education. Really? Our country's a big museum for immigrants to come? Really? That's the argument? Well, we should keep the Robert E. Lee statue up because it reminds us of our mistakes. Yeah. Well, that argument sucks. Nobody's going to go out and fight and die so we can remember the mistakes of our ancestors. Really? Well, we need to keep our statues up because they remind us of how far we've come. To do what? To let black people wreck the south side of Chicago? We're going to go and fight for that? People are going to sacrifice their life and their honor and their treasure for that? Really? How about because our people are excellent? How about because our people are great? How about because we are right and because we are good? How about that? How about because we're the civilization that evangelized the world? That before we got here, this was a continent of genocidal barbarians doing human sacrifices to pagan gods, a religion of war. And now, or at least until recently, it looked like Paris. Maybe that's a good reason. Maybe because we alone can build skyscrapers. We alone can put men on the moon. Who put men on the moon? Was it Hidden Figures or was it Project Paperclip? We did that. Because we can build pyramids and we can build empires. And we can explore the secrets of the universe and we can explore the solar system and they can't. Maybe is that white supremacist? Is that racist? But that's a little bit more compelling than going out and saying, well, the people that built our civilization don't exist, and they made mistakes, and they're imperfect, but now we're living in their ruins, which is a good museum for black people and Hispanics and Asians to come and, pick apart all the buried treasure in the rubble. Somebody needs to say that. We are not going to win this fight if we don't know the nature of the fight, if we don't know that we're in a fight. We are not going to win this struggle as the anti-racists. We're not going to win. The struggle is not between anti-racists and racists. The struggle is not ideological. It's not partisan. The struggle is between peoples and nations and tribes, and to some extent about ideas. But the struggle is about our identity as a nation. What kind of a nation is this? Is this the nation that we used to be? Is this the nation of people that, brothers, that wave both the Confederate battle flag and the American flag? Or is this a nation of the big fat gay pride flag with the black and brown chevron, and the Pan-African flag, and the Pan-Arab flag, and the Zionist flag, and the Palestinian flag, right? I mean, what nation is this? Is this a nation that celebrates Christmas and Independence Day, or the nation that celebrates Kwanzaa and Juneteenth? Who are we? What is our nation? That's the conflict. And it couldn't be more obvious what they're trying to do. And I've so had it with people coming out and saying, critical race theory is bad because it tells black people to be victims, and black people are awesome and they can achieve anything they set their mind to. The problem with critical race theory is that it's anti-white. I think we care enough about the blacks, okay? We've heard enough about what is in the interest of black people, what is in the interest of white people, what is in the interest of this nation, what is in the interest of the people that built this nation, what is in the interest of our civilization. Is that even an afterthought anymore? Our civilization is being dismantled, and people say, well, Black Lives Matter doesn't care about black people. Who cares about our people? Who cares about our civilization and our country? We don't even care about our civilization. We go and say they don't really care about their own. And you don't care about your own. You don't care about your own home. You don't care about your own ancestors, your own civilization, your own heritage. And people have got to come up. If we're going to keep all this going, we're going to need a pretty good reason for that to continue. Because otherwise it won't. If we don't have a reason to continue all of this, if people don't want to continue all of this, guess what? It will cease to continue. Everything that you see, skyscrapers and the trains and the planes and the supply chains and all of it, it's going to go away if we can't come up with a good reason to have it. And if people come up and say, well, it's hateful or it's not inclusive, and our answer is, no, it isn't. It's not good enough. No, it isn't. You're the one that's not inclusive. Oh, okay. That's why we should keep having Harvard, and that's why we should keep having skyscrapers and NASA and the moon landing and all of that, really, because it's not racist, because anyone can land on the moon. No, they can't. And even if they could, believing that wouldn't make America great. We made America great.
Oh, no.
So that's Juneteenth. That's your Kwanzaa. Sorry for the language, but seriously, I'm so sick of it. At a certain point, you got to come out and tell the truth. You just got to say what's going on. This clever stuff. What if we trick the left? What if we cleverly maneuver around the left's moral framework? No, you're the real racist. No, race doesn't exist. No, race does exist. We have more in common with black Americans than with Finnish fishermen. Really? In what way? In what way? Do you know any black Americans? Which ones? Candace Owens? I like Candace Owens, but maybe I have more in common with her than with a Finnish fisherman. What about any other random person that you would see getting carjacked on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago? Do we have more in common with them? Because I'll tell you what, I'd rather have Finnish fishermen in the south side of Chicago, frankly. I think Chicago would be a lot better, wouldn't it be? And I put that out on Twitter today. I said, what do you think? Do you think Chicago would be different if we had Finnish fishermen instead of American blacks? If race is interchangeable? If whites and blacks in America are so similar and whites and blacks are so different from their racial kin in other countries, if that's the case, then you think the south side of Chicago would be different if you had Finnish fishermen there instead of American blacks? Would it suddenly change? Would it be well, I mean, of course it would change. It would look more like the rest of America. It would probably look a lot more like America than it does now. Why is that?